Hello. So I wanted to give you guys a few more details about some things that might have been a little bit unclear in the assessment. Um, and I hope that that will help. So along with watching the demonstration that I did Thursday, that's also been posted in the announcements, make sure for one thing that you understand the terminology properly. So that you have read through this and that you have also watched the pre-recorded session which goes through and demonstrates some of this. But then down in here, all of these specifications are important. And in Thursday's demonstration, I went through and showed how to start these different paragraph styles and where the different settings are for those. So if you have created those different paragraph styles to begin with, it's actually easier to have those set up since you know them before you put the text in there. The one thing that you want to be aware of, though, is whatever paragraph style has been selected. So you want to make sure that you can see your paragraph style panel. So if it's closed, double click on it or click on it so that it opens up and you can see the different paragraph styles that you have created. Then when you take the text from the Word document, so right here, you'll be copying everything except for the headline because you've put that in separately. So I'm just doing Command C on my keyboard and then have my text box in here that I showed you on Thursday. You want to make sure you have it aligned perfectly with the margins in here. And then if you copy it in here into this box, you'll see that it's just all one kind of paragraph like this. And now that's because I have the basic paragraph style selected right here. So up here at the top, you'll see that it's in Minion Pro, which is the default font, and it doesn't have any of the specification applied to it. Now, for example, I'm going to go back, Command C, to show you here. Whoops, I thought I was. Okay, we'll take that off. Now let's say that I have the body copy selected right here. If I copy my text again, go back to InDesign, and I have the body copy paragraph style selected, when I go in here and paste this, now it jumped back up to that, but let's say that the body copy one is selected, and if I do Command Paste now, you'll see that it's already, now the text is Times New Roman, which was specified for the body copy. You'll see that it's also separating the different paragraphs that were in the Word document, okay? So in the Word document, you don't see those paragraphs, but they have a hard paragraph break in here, and InDesign reads that and makes those separations that you set in the paragraph style. So now, if you continue to copy your text into the next column, you'll see that it's been broken up into these different paragraphs right here. Now you will, then you're supposed to go in and actually change into the other, you have to highlight some of the text to change it into these other paragraph styles. So you will see you have your subheadings. They're kind of separated out here. If your text isn't separated like this when you paste it in, if you pasted it in with a basic paragraph style, you can still find out where these subheadings are, either by scanning through the text and kind of making sense of it, or you can also look at the benchmark examples. And then those will kind of show you, you can see here, where the paragraphs should be broken up and where the subheadings should be. Then you can go back in here, highlight the different components of the text and change that to subheading here, for example. Oops, that has a drop cap on it. So why would it have a drop cap on it? Let's look at this paragraph style. It should not have a drop cap on it. It looks like it could have gotten based on the drop cap. So let's see, does it have a drop cap in here? Yes, it looks like it has a drop cap stuck on here, so we have to take that out. If anything isn't showing up the way that you think it is, then go through the paragraph style and make sure. So when you make a new paragraph style, it always gets based on the last style that you did. And so that's why you want to make sure that it's not based on something else, like this one here apparently was based on the drop cap style. So now that I took that off, it takes it off of the text right here. Now, if you're wondering what text should be selected and applied to what paragraph style, again, you can go back to that example and see. You'll see the first paragraph is the one that has the drop cap on it. So then you would just select the first paragraph, and that's the one that you would add the drop cap paragraph style to. The bullets, if you go back and look at the example, start right here where it says font family, and then it has all of those other paragraphs. So then you would go in, you would look for that word, font family, you'd select all of that, and that's where you would add your bullets to. Now, it actually looks like all of these have a space between each one of the paragraphs, and it doesn't in this text. So that might be something that you have to go in and do after. If for some reason that setting is not right, then you'd have to go in here. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see it better. So in other words, the bullets have some problems on the paragraph style. So then we want to go in here and see indents and spacing. Maybe we need to take the space after out because it was based on the body copy. So if we take that off, there we go. Now that space between each one of the bullets is gone as well. Then there was another recommendation in here that says for you to create a character style and apply it to the first word only in each bullet. And it says Times New Roman semi-bold. I think that font is not always available automatically. So you can just do bold if you want to. It doesn't have to be the semi-bold. But that you have to create a different one, not a paragraph style, but a character style. And you kind of just set that up just like you would a paragraph style, so if you start a new one right here, it just doesn't have as many options to it because it just handles the characters, not the lining and the spacing and all of that kind of stuff. So just under the basic paragraphs here, you just find the font. So you would just find Times New Roman, and then since there is not the semi-bold, just use bold. That will be fine. And then you have to, put in the text and the other specifications that are in here. 10/14. So 10 in here, and the leading is 14 then. And call that good. Then all you have to do is highlight each one of those first words, apply the character style, and that will change just that word to bold. And the reason you want to do it this way with the character style, rather than just highlighting it, because I guess you could probably say to yourself, well, I can just go in here and highlight, highlight this word. Let's zoom in a little bit. Highlight this word still, and I can just go up here and change that to bold. And you could. There's no difference in the way that it turns out. But the thing is, if, for example, you come in later and you say, I don't want to have that bolded, or I want to have it italicized as well, then if you have applied a character style to it, just like the paragraph style, you can open up that character style. You can change this to italic, bold, and the one that has the character style applied to it will change, but not the one that you changed manually. So if you had done it manually, you'd have to go back and highlight every single one again and change it to the italic. But if you have a character style on it, you just have to change it in the character style itself, and everything that had been selected with that would then change. Okay, so that is the great advantage of the paragraph styles and the character styles. And that's what this exercise is about. So, so I hope that clarifies maybe some things. And then also remember that the byline should be selected and changed. And this is the byline down here at the bottom. Maybe you have to be a little careful so that it only selects that. And then go back and double check your specs. Byline, Times New Roman, italic, 8-point, right alignment. And so you can go in there, and that you could actually do with a character. No, you can't, because you can't change the alignment with that. So you want to have another paragraph style here that says byline. All right, so I hope that clarifies things a little bit. And then when you have applied all of those things, you can kind of compare it to the benchmarks and see if it's looking the same. You notice right here too that these subheadings are closer to the paragraph than what mine are. So in other words, there's something else going on with the subheading. So let's double check that. It probably has to do with indents and spacing. It has that space after that the body copy has. So that's the problem right there. I'll take that off. And you can see how that then moves it up close to the subheading like it should be. All right, so as long as you have your paragraph styles applied to the different parts of the text, if there is something that you didn't set correctly in the paragraph style, you can just go into that paragraph style, double check all those settings, make sure that they're correct, and then it will change that text for you. Another little just FYI, if you didn't notice, the text itself, if you read through it, has some important information in it. It actually talks about typesetting, the use of typesetting, and as you will notice when you're highlighting some of these things, it talks about all of these different parts of a text. So you will learn something just by reading through this text that you're working with as well. And that's a good practice. It's a good practice to at least skim through the text so that you don't have anything in here happening to the text that's making it so that it doesn't really make sense, like a strange line break or strange, something else happening with the text where it doesn't flow right. All right, and like I mentioned in my email, you will have an extra day to either put this together or make corrections to your old one if you find out that there was something that you missed. So I won't be grading these until Tuesday. You can submit them up until Monday night. And but I will also give you an opportunity to resubmit them later on if you need to. My goal here is that you understand the paragraph styles, how to use them, and that you can kind of apply it to this text according to the specifications that you were given.